Okay, this video is to help you start your technique on Exultate by Samuel Hazel. There's a website out there called forvo.com, F-O-R-V-O.com, and it's a website that helps you pronounce words that you don't know how to say, which is really great in music because we encounter words that are in a different language all the time. So I looked up the title of this piece on Forvo, and it's not on Forvo, so I have no idea how to say it. So I'm just going to say Exultate, okay? Someone correct me. Someone find out how to say it and teach me. But in the meantime, let's learn how to play it. I noticed as I was preparing for this video, there's a small blocked off section in this excerpt. I didn't notice that the first time that I looked at this, so I'm wondering if you only have to learn that small excerpt instead of the whole page. Someone should ask Mr. Steele about that. It wouldn't be a bad idea to learn the whole page, but given your time restrictions, just learning that excerpt is going to be super helpful. It's right before C and it goes till D. You need to watch the metronome video first before you watch this if you haven't yet. It's going to help you learn how to play with a metronome, which is a lot harder to do than it sounds. So I'm going to show you how to practice just the blocked section. I'm not going to address the opening or the end of this page for this video. First thing I want to teach you, thumb B-flat fingering. We often learn from day one a fingering for B-flat that looks like this. The thumb key, this piece that goes long ways left to right, first finger, pinky. That's all fine and great, except for when you need to go to an A, for example, you have to do what we call like cross fingering, meaning both hands require a finger to be moved, which could result in a little bit of a blip or delay in your technique. So what you can use instead is called thumb B-flat. On your thumb key, if you move your thumb a little bit to your left, you'll find this knobby thing. It's like a round looking, oval looking key. So push that, put your first finger on, and the only thing you want over here is your pinky. This is called a thumb B-flat fingering. Now, this is the same pitch as the other fingering you know. Listen. Now I'll switch to the old fingering. Same note. That was just a test to make sure that I was correct, and I was correct. So now with thumb B-flat on, if you need to go B-flat to A, you just have to move one finger instead of the old two fingers, okay? So in this whole excerpt, I want you to use thumb B-flat. The good thing about thumb B-flat is any note in this clip that needs thumb, so B-flat, D, E-flat, F, G, A, those can all use that key. It won't mess it up. You don't have to do any thumb gymnastics, okay? Sometimes it's easy to think, oh, I can only use it for B-flat, so I got to move it over here and then, No, just keep it there. I'll let you know when you shouldn't use this, but for this excerpt, please use it. Okay, now it's actually a little weird mentally to play with thumb B-flat because the thumb's in a whole new spot, and even though it's only half an inch, it feels crazy the first time. So what I would do is take this time to practice your thumb B-flat fingering by practicing your B-flat scale. And while you're at it, practice your E-flat scale and your A-flat scale. And all the scales that have B-flat, go for it. Except for the scales that also have C-flat, with only one. So and that's a scary one anyways. So practice all your scales with a B-flat, except for C-flat major, and that'll help you get used to it. Next, I want you to break down all of this rhythm with vertical ticks. So I would print an extra copy. I printed myself a copy. I'll show you what I did. Show me all the vertical ticks for the eighth note subdivision breakdowns. So what does that mean exactly? If you think of 16th notes, 1, E, and A. The reason that we count it like that is because 16th notes basically subdivide, this is going to be weird, subdivide the eighth note. Here's the eighth notes. I've never done this before. It's kind of working. 1, E, and A. So every other 16th note is an eighth note. 1 and 1, E, and A. Okay, enough of that. So every other 16th note, starting with the first one, if there is a first one, is an eighth note. The 6 tuplets. There are 6 notes within one beat. If you divide 6 by 2 to find the 8th note, that means there are 3 sextuplets in one 8th note. So you will beam the 16th notes by 2, and you will beam or tick the sextuplets by 3s to make little baby triplets. Of course, whenever you encounter just a single 8th note, that will get 1 tick, or a single 8th note rest, 1 tick. If you encounter a quarter note, 2 ticks, dun, dun. And I think that is all of the rhythm in here. So I would pause the video and see if you can do that by yourself in pencil. If you don't quite understand what I mean, then take a look at this or use this to check your work. See all my red ticks? Those ticks are showing me exactly where the 8th note subdivision is in this whole excerpt so that I don't have to think about it when I'm practicing. I mean, I'll be thinking about it, but this helps as a visual. So if you need to, pause the video, copy that down into your part. The reason we're going to break it down into 8th notes is because, and this is why you need to watch the Met video, we're going to practice it with the 8th note subdivision in the background. And for this, I would definitely use headphones. I'm not going to right now because I want you to hear the click too. Definitely use a left earbud so that your right ear is open and can hear your flute. We got to find our can't mess it up tempo, right? So I'm going to put this on 8th note equals 69. So every click you see that you wrote in your piece, or every red tick that you saw in my piece, is this click. This is not the quarter note, this is the 8th note. Uh-oh. It just restarted. It's from the 90s. Oh, the battery's almost dead, that's why. Okay, so here is what it sounds like. Oh, one more thing. Practice all of this articulated and not slurred. When we put in the articulation with the tongue, it often makes our fingers be more even. When we slur and we're only relying on our fingers for evenness and rhythm, it's trickier. So let's start with articulating. Watch this. Remember, I'm pausing right now because I'm subdividing before I start. So that is your goal for starting your technique on this piece. Find the click that you can play that at evenly. Might be slower than this, maybe it's faster. Articulate everything and start using your thumb B flat. Okay, see you later.